Story is really embarrassing, so strap in. When I was 22 years old, I was dating this guy who was like really cool, you know? He had like really cool taste in music, and he was really well-traveled and cultured, and he knew like all the coolest places to go in New York City. And I don't know if you guys have ever dated a cool person, but it kind of sucks. Like, it's kind of the worst, because like, you're then always the uncool person, you know? Like, we always had to do his plans on the weekends because his plans were cooler, you know? But to be fair, like, they really were super cool plans because he like knew all this fun stuff to do in New York. Like, he discovered this little hole-in-the-wall jazz bar way up in Harlem called St. Nick's Pub. And every Saturday night there was this African jazz night that would happen. And when I say he discovered this place, I mean that in the way that Columbus discovered America. You know, my boyfriend was white. Thank you. So we would go every Saturday just about to see this African jazz band play, and they were amazing, and it was always so much fun. But one weekend, it was the summer after college graduation, my friend Yael was hosting this big barbecue at her parents' house in New Paltz, which is about an hour, 45 minutes outside of New York City. So the plan was the barbecue was during the day on Saturday, and a bunch of us were gonna go for the barbecue and then spend the night, and then spend the rest of the weekend like hiking and walking around New Paltz and eating delicious vegan food, just like real sisterhood bonding. It was gonna be beautiful. So that was the plan. But then my cool boyfriend texted me and was like, we're going to African jazz tonight, you should ditch your friends. And I was like, great point. That's the new plan. So my mission, should I choose to accept it, was to take a bus from New Paltz to Port Authority and then take the subway from Port Authority all the way up to 145th Street. This was gonna be quite a journey, and I would need to leave right now. There was one last bus that was going to be leaving New Paltz very soon, and I needed to be on it. I needed to go to African Jazz Night. Now, this was a daytime barbecue, and it was nighttime at this point, and we had been drinking all day. So there was nobody who could drive me to the bus station. So I was literally sprinting down the side of the highway with my like luggage in tow, totally wasted. But I get to the bus station like just as the last bus is about to pull out, and I get on the bus and I'm like sweating and like smiling and like raising my hands to the heavens, and I was like, yes, like this night is my destiny, my life is the Odyssey, I am Odysseus, like it's all happening. I'm on the bus, and you know how when you're 22, like you're obsessed with pre-gaming? Like, you pregame everything, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, God forbid you show up sober to a bar, you know? Like, doesn't make any goddamn sense. But I had made myself this cocktail at Yael's. It was like Sprite and mostly gin. So I was like chugging that for the entire hour and 45-minute bus ride. So it's a little like, you know, a little dicey. When I got off the bus at Port Authority, I find my way to the subway. I'm on the A train. It's about midnight at this point on a Saturday night, so the train is pretty packed. There is not a seat available, so I'm standing with all of my luggage around me, you know, because I wanted to spend the weekend there. So I have all my bags, and I'm standing and holding onto the pole, and it's about a 30-minute ride from 42nd Street up to 145th Street, where this Harlem bar was. And at some point in this journey, I suddenly get the very strong urge to pee. And at a certain point in the night on the A train, stops become less and less frequent, you know? There's more and more time between each stop. Do you guys understand what I'm saying here? So I'm standing there and I'm clutching the pole and I just start going. I just start peeing, and it wasn't like a little pee either. It wasn't like a cute little tinkle. Like it was like the floodgates had opened, the dam has broken. Like it was like a Darren Aronofsky movie. Like it was like frightening amount of urine. People are staring, others like avert their gaze. Like I just imagine to be in their shoes, like this was like the start or the end to some of these people's Saturday night, Oh boy, just to see a girl just standing and just fully pissing herself, like, what a treat. So the subway doors finally open, we get to some stop, and I run off the train, still peeing, by the way, like I'm mid-pee. I took it from the car to the platform, up the escalator. I get out of the subway station, and I'm like, okay, I have to be close to the venue at this point, because it felt like I had been on that train forever. But I was still like 40 blocks away. I was like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do? So I see that there's this apartment building with like the lights on in the lobby, and I go in, and the poor guy manning the front desk just takes one look at me, and he's like, bathroom's over there. And so I burst into the bathroom, and I am like, okay, bury the evidence, bury the evidence, bury the evidence. Like, and I just start splashing myself with water, just really just dousing myself, because, pee smells. It smells like pee, but it also stains. And I was especially worried about staining because I was wearing, wait for it, all white.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I was wearing white sneakers, a white Hanes V-neck t-shirt, and the pièce de résistance, white denim short shorts. Thank you, thank you. To think at the beginning of the day when I picked out that outfit, I was like really feeling myself. I was like, this is kind of a Luke, like, and yeah, oh how the mighty had fallen. So I'm dousing myself with water, and I know what you're thinking at this point in the story. You're like, Sarah, you had a duffel bag. Why didn't you just grab a change of clothes? And you guys, I don't know. I don't know, okay? I was kerschnoppeled. I don't know. I was like banana cakes. Like, I don't know. This question, this missing piece of information has haunted me for 10 years. But in that moment, I was like, okay, this is my journey. This is my cross to bear. Like, I must go to this bar with wet, white clothes. And I realized that I would need to come up with a story for why I looked like this. So I finally make it to the bar, and I get in there, and my boyfriend and his friends are like, oh my God, like, what happened to you? Like, are you okay? Because I was like dripping wet, and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are never going to guess what happened. This guy sitting next to me on the bus from New Paltz spilled his Sprite all over me. And that was the first and best thing I could think of. And you guys, they totally bought it. Oh my God, it worked. They were like, oh, wow, that must have been a lot of Sprite. Wow, he really got it all over you, didn't he? Oh, you're still sticky. And I was like, hee hee, don't lick me. But once I was inside, I really turned the beat around. Like the music was kicking, the band was amazing, people are dancing, I'm drinking some more, and then I proceed to climb on stage by myself and just start dancing in front of the crowd of people, maybe 80 or so, mostly Harlem residents, just start dancing, and I remember it as dancing, but my boyfriend later told me that instead what I was doing was just this. And I was like making little sound effects too. I was like, just like in front of this very accomplished group of jazz musicians and this like, these people who just were out here trying to have fun, like, have a good time on a Saturday night. Just this wet, like Jewish person just air fucking the crowd, like, yeah, it was kind of wild, but the crowd loved it. They started cheering and clapping. They're like, yes, like this woman is insane. They were like living for it, and the band is like cracking up and they're clapping, and like the bass line's picking up and the drum is kicking into high gear, and with the full support of the band behind me and the music swelling, I am baptized like a phoenix rising from the ashes of my urine-soiled shorts. I am reborn. It was victorious. And, this story started with my boyfriend, but it's really not about him or any man. This is a story of a woman and her journey from tragedy to triumph. And in this climate, we really need more stories like these, you know, because representation matters. Thank you very much. Oh, and by the way, after this happened, I pissed myself like 7 more times.